In the heart of darkness, a legend was born. His name, Jason Voorhees. Born on a sweltering summer day, June 13, 1946, Jason entered a world that was unkind from the get-go. His mother, Pamela Voorhees, was his only beacon of light in a world shadowed by his disfigurement. Growing up, Jason was not like other children. His face, marred by a severe congenital deformity, became a target for ridicule and torment. Each laughter, each whisper was a jagged stone thrown at him, chipping away at his innocence. The children were cruel, but the world was crueler. Pamela, his mother, was his sole source of comfort in this harsh world. She was the only person who looked beyond his disfigurement, who saw the gentle soul beneath the scarred facade. To her, he was not Jason the disfigured, but Jason, her beloved son. Their bond was forged in the crucible of adversity, strengthened with each tear, each shared sorrow. They were two against the world, their love an unbreakable fortress against the onslaught of scorn and ridicule. His childhood, though filled with hardship, was also punctuated by moments of joy. His mother's lullabies, their shared laughter, the quiet moments of peace amidst the storm, all painted a different picture of the boy who would later become a legend. Jason's world was small. It was the warmth of his mother's embrace, the safety of their humble abode, the familiarity of the surroundings. The world outside held nothing for him, but one place did call to him. A place of solitude, of quiet, where the whispers of the wind and the lapping of the water were his only companions, Camp Crystal Lake. And so, in the isolation of Camp Crystal Lake, young Jason began to grow into the legend he would later become. His story, however, was only beginning. The trials and tribulations that lay ahead would test him, shape him, and ultimately define him. This was the birth of fear, the genesis of a legend, Jason Voorhees. A cruel twist of fate would forever change the course of Jason's life at Camp Crystal Lake. The year was 1957, a time of innocence and carefree summer days. But for Jason, it was the year his life would take a tragic turn. Born with physical deformities that made him an outcast, Jason sought solace in the peaceful surroundings of the camp. But peace was a fleeting dream, snuffed out by the harsh reality of his fate. It was a warm summer day when Jason, unattended, ventured too far into the lake's waters. The camp counselors, who were supposed to be watching over him, were distracted, consumed by their youthful indulgence. And while they reveled, Jason struggled, his cries for help swallowed by the vast expanse of the lake. That day, the waters of Camp Crystal Lake claimed the life of Jason Voorhees. However, death was not the end for Jason. His spirit, fueled by a burning hatred for those who had failed him, lingered. In the years that followed, Camp Crystal Lake became the backdrop for a series of chilling murders. Each victim, whether a counselor or camper, became a symbol of Jason's vengeance. His method of killing was as varied as it was brutal, reflecting the depth of his rage and the extent of his torment. As the body count grew, so did the legend of Jason Voorhees. The once peaceful summer retreat transformed into a place shrouded in fear and mystery. The laughter and joy that once echoed through the camp were replaced by hushed whispers and trembling hands. From that day forward, Camp Crystal Lake would become a site of terror, forever haunted by the specter of Jason Voorhees. His name became a chilling reminder of the tragedy that unfolded that summer, a silent warning of the danger that lurks beneath the surface of the seemingly serene lake. But death was not the end for Jason Voorhees. It was only the beginning. A gruesome reawakening marked the genesis of a relentless force of terror. Driven by a thirst for vengeance and a twisted sense of justice, Jason returned from the dead, a specter more terrifying than anyone could have imagined. His resurrection brought with it supernatural strength and invulnerability. Jason was no longer a mere man, but a force of nature, an unstoppable tempest of rage. His strength was beyond human, lifting his victims off their feet with a single hand, crushing skulls as if they were made of glass. But it wasn't just his monstrous strength that made him a figure of dread. His invulnerability turned him into a nightmare that wouldn't end. Bullets, knives, fire, even drowning, nothing seemed to keep Jason down. He was the embodiment of the saying, "What doesn't kill you makes you stronger," except in his case, he was already dead. Then there was his signature weapon, the machete. It was an extension of his wrath, a tool of terror that he wielded with a deadly precision. Each swing, each slice was a testament to his relentless pursuit of vengeance. The sound of that blade cutting through the air became a death knell for those unfortunate enough to cross his path. And of course, there was his mask. A simple hockey mask that, in any other context, would be completely ordinary. But on Jason, it became a symbol of terror. It hid his disfigurement, yes, but it also served to dehumanize him, to transform him into a faceless specter of death. The mere sight of that mask was enough to send a chill down the spine of even the bravest soul. Unstoppable, unkillable, Jason Voorhees had become the embodiment of fear. His name was whispered in hushed tones, a chilling reminder of the terror that lurked in the shadow of Camp Crystal Lake. Every rustle in the bushes, every snap of a twig, was a potential herald of his arrival, and when he came, there was no escape. Jason Voorhees is not just a man but a legend, a symbol of relentless terror. The mere mention of his name sends shivers down the spine, evoking images of a disfigured, hulking figure stalking the shadows of Camp Crystal Lake. Born on June 13, 1946, Jason was subjected to constant bullying due to his disfigurement. The cruel taunts and mockery only intensified his isolation, ultimately shaping his murderous rage. However, it was the tragic death of his mother, Pamela Voorhees, that truly ignited his unquenchable thirst for revenge. His unique method of executing his victims, employing an array of weapons but often favoring his iconic machete, has become a defining trait. His towering stature, standing at a menacing 6 foot 5 inches, only adds to his terrifying presence. And then there's his invincibility. Jason's seeming inability to die has baffled many, with theories ranging from supernatural intervention to a rare genetic disorder. Regardless of the reason, his immortality only bolsters his legacy as an undying embodiment of fear. His father, Elias Voorhees, is a figure shrouded in mystery, a mere footnote in the grand tale of his son's terror. But it's his mother's influence that truly drives him, her voice echoing in his mind, compelling him to seek vengeance on those who dare trespass on their sacred ground, Camp Crystal Lake. Jason's relentless pursuit of revenge and his unyielding presence at Camp Crystal Lake have made him a cornerstone of pop culture, transcending the horror genre to become an enduring symbol of terror. His image has been immortalized in countless films, merchandise, and even video games, forever cementing his place in the annals of horror history. From a bullied child to an undying symbol of fear, Jason Voorhees continues to haunt our nightmares, a relentless force lurking in the depths of Camp Crystal Lake. His legacy continues to grow, inspiring dread and fascination in equal measure, his name forever synonymous with the very essence of horror